Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. How's everybody doing today? This is Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Looking forward to having a great discussion today. We talking about Kanye West and White Lives Matter and that nonsense with Candace Owens. You know, we've been going at Candace Owens for 4-5 years. I don't know what everybody else been doing. Oh, I know. They've been inviting her on their shows and stuff, right? Ain't that Candace Owens on the Revolt Summit? Talk about it. We gonna act like we don't understand how she was elevated and where this come from. This lady didn't even graduate from college. She don't know nothing. She's a young girl, white people done put out here. I want to have a good discussion today about Kanye West and this weird shirt and how black celebrity, I believe it's been dead. I told y'all that, but y'all need this. And Diddy done said retribution. Diddy done said retribution. If you don't get out of here, he don't want to know you. Stop. It ain't not. Look, let me start off. I didn't even want to start here, but I'm gonna get here first. In '92, MC Hammer was hot. By '96, he was gone. Diddy's songs was like in 2000s, 2022, y'all. How long we gonna love David Ruffins? I'm just saying, we can't even have no space to have politics. Y'all acting like he a Harvard grad. Retribution, bro. So let's get right to the discussion, because I'm gonna get to that in a second, because it's just nonsense. I believe it was inappropriate for him to be allowed to interview that way on the Breakfast Club, given that the Breakfast Club had distribution to him at one point. It's not gonna be a good interview. It's just gonna be a public announcement. And then you got Charlamagne asking him questions, and we know Charlamagne's history. You got to shout out to South Carolina and GEDs. I want a journalist asking him questions of Diddy. Did you or did you not take Make's publishing and not want to sell it back? Did you or did you not sit with Trump, and what did you discuss? Can't get that from Charlamagne. All right. Well, nonetheless, let's start right here. Kanye West rocks. White Lives Matter shirt says BLM movement was a scam. BLM movement, Black Lives Matter. What's the trip about this whole thing is everybody's focused on the money, and the money is wrong. The money getting spent the way it was. We did shows on that, but that's not the big part of Black Lives Matter that makes it a problem. But when we was saying it, didn't nobody want to talk about it. Didn't nobody want to talk about it when we was saying it. When we was trying to explain to y'all. And now you got Kanye West, who y'all loved, being judged by people who did the same thing. Hold on. As Kanye West. All right. Being judged by a TI that met with Tim Scott about opportunity zones, which was nothing more than meeting with Trump. And a Diddy who's been friends with Trump based on his statements. Come on, man. Kanye West wears White Lives Matter shirt at surprise Yeezy show. Okay, so y'all listening to this man that don't know much and still following him, and y'all need him because your home life ain't that good. When we gonna let this go? When we gonna let the Temptations be in the back, the OJs? How long we gonna keep allowing these people to convince you through verses that they still celebrities? I don't want to hear about no legends. I don't want to hear about no OGs. I just want to hear that they at the Ebell. What is it? The Wiltern. I don't want to hear no more of this. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. The rapper staged a surprise Yeezy fashion show on Monday in Paris, showcasing his season 9 collection to much fanfare. Before the models appeared, West gave a speech while wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt emblazoned with the Pope's face on front and some bedazzled flip-flops he sported last week. Somebody said Kanye is a weirdo. He been one, but you loved him though. He been one, but you loved him though. He referenced his ex-wife Kim Kardashian's 2016 Paris robbery, his former manager Scooter Braun, the struggles he faced entering the fashion industry, his recent fallout with Gap. We'll get to that. Kanye said he don't read, but they put all the words in the contract. Hold on. Kanye said he don't read nothing, but he put all the words in his contract, and y'all told me he was a genius. Tone, he could be a genius in one thing and not a genius in another because he can't read. Get out of here. We gonna talk today? I am yay. These people always talking, I am love. Y'all done convinced these people that they somebody. These little people that they don't have no advanced degrees, they just run around, they can't even speak well, and y'all done convinced them that they somebody. I am yay, and everyone here knows that I am the leader, he said at one point. That's the moment when, that's why you don't want Tone at the summit. Because that's the moment that hold up. Y'all talking about this dude? I am yay. And everyone here knows that I am the leader. He said at one point, you can't manage me. Before the show, Ye teased some of the famous models expected to make appearances. Kardashian 41 ex-girlfriend Irina Shayk and current playing Candace Owens. All right. How long we gonna let him live on the college dropout? I am yay. You guys got kids, got families destroyed based on how the decadent veil has utilized and used our ADOS black politics for their own benefit. They've been doing it since Clinton and probably before that. From Arsenio with the saxophone to Jay-Z sitting with Obama to Kanye with Donald Trump, hand in hand. And Diddy got the same picture. I showed it to you earlier. Just not in the White House. But when we look at Black Lives Matter and the statement that Kanye is saying, we have to understand this was why we told you that the whole thing was a mess and a problem. You can have your opinions because you probably got out there with your shirt and stuff. But what I will tell you is that while Black lives do matter generically, I didn't need a movement that really was about advancing, in my view, trans rights to utilize the deaths and incarceration of, in particular, Black men and the destruction of Black families to push that agenda. Can we talk? Tone, what you mean? Oh, the shows will tell you what I mean. The shows where we showed you that all the money that they were giving out when they were forced to give out some money to the charities, damn near all went to the trans rights groups. When you open up the reality of the background, oh, we've done background on Black lives. We're not just coming out at a fashion show or on an interview and saying Black lives something else in the middle of the interview and then going back to ourselves so we can sell some perfume or some cheap liquor. Can I talk about it? But you got people out there talking about Diddy got it good. Diddy did good and he was on the show and it's so popular. That's a goddamn YouTube show at this point. Can we talk? Y'all don't even have a... You ever seen somebody with no ceiling, all floor? That's a lot of y'all friends and family right now. Out here thinking that verses matter. It don't matter. I want you to next time look at yourself in the mirror. You are your auntie now. What I mean? What I mean? What you saying, Tone? You remember your old auntie that used to go see the Isleys when you was like 10, and she went out to the concert, but she knew that it wasn't her moment no more. But we gonna watch a legend, like a concert of their best hits. That's you now. You need to look in the mirror. The Kanye need to look in the mirror. Can we talk? Diddy need to look in the mirror. We don't need no more of this. So you get out, you say, we don't need to be just interrupted, but then you interrupt. what we have done is anchored a discussion that takes this to a much higher level than people ready to talk about. I had dinner with Warren Buffett and he learned me some lessons on investments. How about I don't care? Is Warren Buffett the wallet behind Black Lives Matter? This is not my article, tablet.com. I'll read you just a section. Just a section. There is, however, another version of events in which the heartfelt dedication to racial justice is on the forward-facing side of a more complicated movement. This is not what Kanye was talking about. He was talking about the money. He's just using it for marketing for his fashion show. What we talking about is how you don't get politics for ADOS, black folks, because you got politics for somebody else. The Tides Network is a powerful instrument leveraged by billionaires working to change America while shielding their philanthropic dollars from public scrutiny through these women's. Now everybody's scattered. Left us with a slogan that's a generic term called Black Lives Matter. But behind that was this. And you can read the whole article yourself. They got the tax returns, everything else. This is the work. Y'all are allowing the same hustle that was used to make you think that Diddy was a mogul, that hip hop was a business, to now make you believe that they understand what's going on with Black Lives Matter. What are you saying, Tone? I'm saying putting out CDs wasn't really a business like that. You didn't have to grow the apples and the oranges. You didn't have to take them on the truck. See, that Universal did that part for you. All you had to do was convince black folks that you did. And they're doing the same thing now with politics they didn't create. There is, however, another version of events in which the heartfelt dedication to racial justice on the forward-facing side of a more complicated, movement. Behind the street-level activism and emotional outpouring is a calculated machinery built by establishment money. When we did ADOS, we built it with your donations, with a small little black church in Kentucky. We built it with the work product of myself and Yvette Carnell combining concepts that challenge the boundaries of race, wealth, immigration, and so many other concepts. That's just what it was and what it is. Talk about it. And now you got people offshoot taking the same stuff that they never thought about. And if they did, just show me. Show me your article from 2013 or your video. Any group out there, please do show me. Show me that you did a pamphlet or something. We just didn't read it, but you had a pamphlet and it said all the concepts like lineage matters. All your stuff came in 2021. You can't blame me because I don't like you. Can we talk about it? You mad at me because I don't want to talk to you? I'm just going to get my... You remember on the street when somebody had all the Nintendo games? That's what these people are. My mom gets me all the Nintendo games. I can get my own Nintendo games. And power that has seized on racial politics. I know I'm jumping around a bit because it's several topics we're dealing with, in which some of the biggest capitalists in the world are financially backing a group of self-described trained Marxists. See, we're focused on Patrisse Cullors' house, but we're not focused on the house of Adolf's black politics. Now, that's important, all the money that was taken like that. But what's more important is, was this really just a movement about trans rights and women's rights using the death of black men? The destruction of black families? Sound like it. Backing a group of self-described trained Marxists, a label that Cullors enthusiastically applies to herself and the group's other co-founders. These bedfellows, whose stories and fortunes are never publicly presented as related, are in reality intertwined under the umbrella of a fiscal sponsor named IDEX, a modestly endowed West Coast nonprofit with origins in the Peace Corps. which for decades supported local farmers, shepherds, and agricultural workers under the Global South IDEX, has in the past years been transformed into two distinct new things: the infrastructure back into the Black Lives Matter organization in the US, and also at the very same time, and you can get the rest of the article. This is the story. What Kanye gave y'all is the gimmick, all for his fashion show. This ain't about Black Lives Matter being a scam, so you say white lives matter. This is about Black Lives Matter covering up black politics, Adolf's black politics. Come on. Did y'all see it? This is Tone Talks. Please, I want you to subscribe, share this video. We're going to have this discussion. We're going to get through some things. We've been talking about this for a long time, and everybody else was quiet. Now everybody want to jump in and say all the wrong stuff. Y'all say, what is it? Why does it matter that you and Yvette have political science degrees and that Charlemagne has a GED? Why does it matter? Because you don't get the right result. You don't. No, you don't. What you get is a hodgepodge of the use of black politics to create self-branding for black celebrities to keep themselves relevant. Because that's all they know how to do. What does it matter that somebody didn't finish high school? U.S. history, you're talking about basic reading and writing skills. We're talking about just government. I mean, you guys are presuming these people all understand these concepts, and basically, they watching shows. They watching that Tone Talks and then Breaking Brown to get that information. I don't need them to repeat my stuff wrong. Woo-wee! We about to get into it. I want y'all to notice these circles, 2022 in February, time to ask Black Lives Matter colors and Garza, where did the $90 million go? Remember that came out the little donations? I pulled out the whole chart and I went item by item and showed you how it almost all went to trans groups. Why? And I said they should just, I don't have a problem with them doing this. It ain't my cup of tea, but they should have just called it Trans Lives Matter. But then you don't get that $90 million. We look at another article. Now, it may stand, another tweet I put out now, it may stand as one of the biggest charity scandals in recent memory. Founding BLMGNF member Patrisse Cullors didn't waste any time in finding herself in a financial scandal, has since stepped down. This is the Daily Mail article. But you had Kanye West wear a White Lives Matter shirt as the response. If your car tank is empty, do you go upstairs and get a gallon of water? Let me say it again, because it might not be clear what analogy I'm making. If your car tank is empty, do you get a gallon of water? Or do you walk down to the gas station and get some gas? This man don't know the difference. He thinks that was an answer to Black Lives Matter when ADOS was the answer to Black Lives Matter. But you don't want to do that part because that'll mess up the money. Because you might get some real people talking that stuff to you. That stuff that you said you don't like listening to because you don't like to be managed. I manage you, Kanye. Kanye West wears White Lives Matter shirt at surprise Yeezy show. Candace Owens pulls Lizzo into defense of Kanye West White Lives Matter shirt. Conservative commentator, and again, this is a woman here. Her whole thing, she was a model, and then she got picked up with from a video from some conservatives, and she's not college educated, and she presents like she has this information, and most of the stuff she say, to me, borders on not even being coherent. But I've been saying this since 2018. Everybody else can show me their videos from 2018 where they were saying it. Conservative commentator Candace Owens clapped back at critics who ripped her and Kanye West for wearing White Lives Matter shirts, and even brought music star Lizzo into her lecture. Owens, during part of her Daily Wire podcast, defended her and West's outfit choice during Paris Fashion Week, as she argued Black Americans should care more about abortion, Black on Black crime. You know what we should have done? We should have put a White Lives Matter t-shirt on Lizzo. Maybe we could have gotten, come on. She's a whole gimmick. But she works because the races become this version of a decadent veil gimmick. That's what they do. I mean, what did he say at the interview with the Breakfast Club? He said we need that retribute, and then And then Charlemagne chime in, reparation. And he says, reparations. And nothing he was talking about was reparations. You know how? Because he says unapologetically black is what we need to focus on. And what reparations is about is not about melanin. It's not about color. It's about lineage. So he don't even know what he's talking about because he's not talking about reparations. He's talking about general policy. Kanye said he don't read. Let me flip this light on. Kanye said he don't read, y'all. 310-388-3499 if you want to chime in. Because I just coming to you. I wanted to have this discussion. I got some stuff together, but Kanye West says he doesn't read. Somebody said, who sounded intoxicated? You talking about Diddy? When you said I hadn't read this book, I actually haven't read any book, he said. Reading is like eating Brussels sprouts for me. His apparent long-standing refusal to read is an especially odd choice given his new venture into education with Donda Academy in Simi Valley. So he don't read. He ain't read any book. Y'all done elevated this man. Kanye West baffled by negative response to his White Lives Matter shirt designs. So Kanye said he don't read any book. And if you recall, he also recently put out the contract for his Adidas and his Gap that y'all run around and say he a great businessman for doing. And he just got honest. And he got the same deal that probably all of them got, which is you don't get nothing unless you shut up and act like you got something and own it all so that we can get it all. He just got honest and they told him, you ain't selling nothing no more. That's what you get for that honesty. But if he could read, maybe his contract could read different. Sandra said she heard the interview, y'all. Brian, if you look, I don't believe these people are billionaires if I put $1 billion in their pocket. They just tell us anything at this point, just anything. Y'all be out here believing this nonsense. You got Diddy and T.I. and other hip-hop legends last Kanye for his Trump visit. So when he visited Trump with the red hat, but then you got Diddy with Trump. And you got T.I. meeting Tim Scott over opportunity zones, which is just Trump's tax cut. But you got them judging him for because they're just playing a role. They're trying to appease you. The decadent veil is done. It's like an old 70s outfit. And y'all keep putting it on. How many verses y'all gonna know? Y'all know all the words to SWV whole album? I get a song or a hook. Y'all know too much about too little of too much. Can we talk? Y'all know too much about nothing. Got the whole goddamn album in your mind. But then when I ask you about reparations, you ain't never even heard of the concept until I start talking to you about it. Talk about it. Here we go. So we moving on to Diddy a little bit. Diddy got on the Breakfast Club and they thought they was going to do cover. I want you guys to understand from a journalistic standpoint, and journalists can call in again, 310-388-3499 if you want to call in. It is inappropriate for him to have done this interview on the Breakfast Club, in my view. I believe it lacks journalistic integrity because there is so much bias. And even though one of the hosts actually, DJ Envy, alludes to the fact that they used to be on Revolt, they did not present to you that this might be a biased interview when they go into certain subjects. They failed you in that aspect, and they really shouldn't have been asking a lot of these questions because at that point it's just a public announcement or like a PR, a public relations release. Because this is just friends helping friends. I need you to understand this interview needs to be done by somebody who has the skill set, who has the tools to dig into the questions that he's trying to answer about Mace or anybody else and his dealings and everything else. And what we don't need is for him to bring up reparations and not only not know the word, not only not know it's lineage based, not color based, but also to tie it in to make himself a hero. So we forget the main subject of the whole interview. But white media realize that we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about this. White lives do matter. Kanye West doubles down on White Lives Matter slogan as Diddy comes to his defense, saying the message has been misconstrued and calls him a free thinker. So Diddy called Kanye a free thinker on this show. And then people sat up there and called this man a mogul. Look, y'all gonna let how long? Not only are you how long you gonna let these people? Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time for the new people that just came in. So, how long are y'all gonna let people utilize the very politics that's the last thing you got in your little linted pocket to cover up their own bad dealings? So you bring the word reparations up and everybody clapping and applauding and everything else. But what about this right here? What about what, Tom? Diddy accused of ripping off young entrepreneurs' app idea to promote black business called Out in Savage Video. Diddy is being dragged through the mud by a young entrepreneur who accuses him of ripping off his app and calling it his own. Talk about it. But we gonna talk about black excellence. On Tuesday, a young black entrepreneur named Drixon Kaiser, aka Devin, and you can read the whole article yourself, Radar, decided to call out Diddy again for allegedly stealing his idea that he's been working on for a year. Last week, Diddy announced he was launching a project called Shop Circulate this fall. The mogul partnered with a company called Salesforce to launch a curated digital marketplace. The supposed goal of Circulate is to empower black businesses by selling products exclusively created and sold by black entrepreneurs. The problem with Diddy's Shop Circulate is Devin says he has already been working on an app called Circulate, which is set to do the same thing as Diddy's company. Devin released a video addressing the situation after Diddy to give him a call. Have you ever had your heart ripped out of your chest? So we're going to get on the Breakfast Club and talk about reparations, but we're not going to bring this up. PR announcement. Not only are we not going to bring this up, we're not going to bring up that Mace and dig into it and bring Mace on the phone. On Friday, Mace returned to Instagram to shed more light on his issues with Diddy, who signed him to Bad Boy Records more than 2 decades ago. In a recent interview, Mace claimed Diddy rejected his $2 million offer to buy back his music publishing, which Diddy allegedly purchased for just $20,000 in '96. Mace said he wasn't the only Bad Boy alum who was mistreated by the label founder and felt it was necessary to sneak out. When I see the hurt and the pain of other people on Bad Boy, that motivates me to say something, so I don't be deemed as a person who just made a bunch of money and turned a blind eye, he said via Instagram. I'm not going to be like the rest of people around Puff that don't tell him he's wrong. I'm not going to be like the yes men around him that see him ruining people's lives and never tell them he's wrong. Black music executives have to be honest about lying. This is an article I found. You can Google it. Any true progress in the music industry begins with Black music executives acknowledging that they're just as guilty of stifling Black artists as the white institutions they point the finger at. And today they shrewdly play on the same sentimentality with phrases like Black excellence and representation, but those buzzwords are hollow and steeped in hypocrisy. Any Black label executive who's made billions from the music industry is complicit in the exploitive machinery. Black excellence can't merely be about putting a Black face on racist practices. Any true progress in the Black industry begins with Black executives acknowledging that they're just as guilty of stifling Black artists as the white institutions they point the finger at. Can we talk? Can we talk? Diddy spoke for many with his call for accountability, and Mace spoke for many recording artists in his lengthy Instagram response, which asked the same accountability from Diddy. Mace wrote, if you want to see the change, you can make a change by starting with your today. Your past business practice knowingly starved your artists. But we're going to use the word reparations on the interview. He said retribution. What is it? Someone else said reparations to him. I think it was Charlemagne. Then Diddy said reparations. That he don't know what reparations is. He don't understand the concept. He generally kind of gets it, but it don't matter if he do. If he the one, if he been taken from people, we don't need him to be the voice. If that's true. Also, it's a radio show that gets his views from YouTube, so it's not the biggest platform. So Diddy was talking that talk on the biggest platform. What big platform? Oh, I need you guys to stop. Again, ADOS was on the cover of the New York Times. So I don't know. Reparations don't need to be on the biggest platform, and we think it's the Breakfast Club. Did you say hip hop? Reparations isn't a discussion confined to hip hop, and in many cases, it's simply confused, mangled, and used for cover within it. This is laughable, bro. Plainly and simple, laughable. Really, hip hop? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Tone? This is Trayvon from Baltimore.
Trayvon, let me go through some. A lot of people been asking a question. Y'all remember? I was supposed to be Diddy Instagram this, and Killer Mike, we're gonna have a great discussion. Shout out to Killer Mike to the extent that he does mention Yvette and I, but I feel like there's a line in the sand where you need to understand that there's active people in this discussion that damage the discussion, and you're gonna have to figure this out because elevating you like meaning. My thing is you can't have her on the show. Revolt Summit, meaning Candace Owens. And this picture just can't happen. And then not understand how it leads to, in part, not in full, an elevation of her to this moment. You know, you didn't create this moment. But the accountability from the Revolt Summit for elevating her has to be made. So now you got the head of the California Reparations at the Revolt Summit, at the same summit this lady was at. I was not a head of a reparations committee in California when they invited me. But if I was now, I might make a whole statement that Candace Owens was already on your show. I can't come. How about it? You know how to do leverage power or you don't? You don't. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, I just see it as a complete circus, and it's a farce to believe that someone like Diddy actually gives a crap about us. I mean, from what you've already listed with how he treats his artists, it was so transparent when he was on the Breakfast Club. He was just using an amalgam of all the stuff that was trending on Twitter for the past 3 years. I think he even used that the indigenous stuff, and he was talking about tribes and stuff. I'm like, this is.
He said brown people at one point, right before this. Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's so crazy that people are scrambling so hard to try and get ahead of us that they're playing both sides so sloppily. It's just amazing to see.
Well, it is to me where it's not amazing is that y'all been following people that either barely graduated high school, dropped out of high school. Now, I'm not saying that they can't commendably have some role in a movement, but we have far too many highly educated people that need to do that. Because like there is a lot that was learned at UCLA. I can't even tell you how much of that lot was. We need people like Yvette that's been on the Hill. We need people like Yvette that has been on the Hill. What you guys are doing is saying, I'm going to mix everything together and then just slurp it down. Well, don't be mad when your stomach hurt. What else you think about this, caller?
Basically, with Kanye, he's a provocateur. He's never said anything publicly outside of music that's made a lot of sense, in my opinion. I mean, it just seemed like at one point, maybe in his early career, when he criticized Bush, it was just like, okay, there might be something here. But that obviously didn't go the way it went. I just feel like black celebrities they just don't have any grounding. They don't have any real wealth. They're just guns for hire.
Yeah, we saw that. Understand this. Understand this. We saw that already with Diddy. They give these people, look, I can't get into the specifics that I know, but they give these people the outside of something just to hustle y'all. So you give them revolt, but you don't give them no subscription fees. You make it hard for them to get certain areas of the nation. And so as a result, they didn't give you the channel. They just gave you like the part that Understand this. I want everybody to know this. Let's go back. When we look at, let me make sure I got the picture up. I want to have the right picture up. When we look at Revolt, does everybody here know how he got Revolt? In the chat, please. Caller, do you know how he got Revolt? You still?
It was through. It was during Obama's term that there was. They had to break them up. They had to break up a certain. I think it was Comcast, and they gave him a channel.
Well, let's back up. Wait. Let's back up. Let's back up. When you said they had to break up, there was, but there was a memorandum of understanding that was part of this thing, and you had the whole Sharpton thing going on. So what happened was, instead of black folks getting real ownership, they gave pieces out to people that make it look like we was included. And I believe that Aspire, Revolt, was Sharpton's little hosting job. So now those people that took that stuff is gonna come back and talk to us about reparations, and y'all gonna say, "Oh, he Diddy getting it? He just said the word wrong." He don't understand that he is the blockage point for reparative justice, not the opening. And I'm gonna let you go, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gave this man the outside of a car. You ever seen a car with no engine, looking like Fred Flintstone with that Revolt station? Can't get no content. I'm tired of this, bro. But somebody got it. You know, the man put this thing up. It was sent over to me, and he said Diddy was talking that talk on the biggest platform, speaking on reparations and tribe talk. I don't know what that means. The message definitely growing. The Shade Room needs to post this. He said, what is it? Looked over, and someone says reparations to him, and y'all think that he talking that talk. Come on. Whenever the heat gets hot on him about how he was ripped off as artist, so somebody came into that thread with this man, because I had to go back and forth with this Doc Lou Allen man. He said, what platform bigger than Breakfast Club? Understand? He said, biggest. I see. He said that talk on the biggest platform. They don't say hip hop biggest. It says biggest. Every platform is bigger than Breakfast Club. Definitely not just a YouTube show. Do some research. I said, did you say hip hop? Reparations isn't a discussion confined to hip hop, and in many cases simply confused, mangled, and used for cover. This is laughable. Bro, stop, man. Diddy looking for cover. Tell him to stand with Kanye. Really, in hip hop is the reply. I can't. I didn't have to mention hip hop because everyone knows they are the biggest hip hop platform. He said on a platform that mainly Black Americans watch. So mentioning it on their platform means a lot to a majority of Black Americans. I said, no, this is just covered. He didn't even know the word. In addition, he didn't understand the concept. This is a lot for you. This is a lot for you, Doc Lou Allen, because you love Diddy. You done watched all his videos, being there sweating and know his dance moves. One more time. I know I keep on. I know you're at work. I need everybody to understand we have a problem. But somebody else got it too. Shout out to this person. Whenever the heat gets hot on him, meaning Diddy, about how he ripped off his artists, here he comes, pandering to the Black community, which talks about their favorite subject, reparations. He knows that anyone who talks about it is viewed as a hero in the Black community. Everybody want to be a hero because I didn't hear nobody talk about reparations before us. Not at no national level. Now, no way. They talk about Black capitalism and we can do it and we just need to invest. In fact, people told us, like Boy said, it ain't no real, or Roland said it's never gonna happen. Can we talk? Can I make it make sense? Can I slow it down? Let me take another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tom. Hey, this is Tiffany. I'm from Chicago. I didn't hear my name, so I was like, huh, am I on? Okay.
You on. Hey, Jadakiss threw a chair at Diddy. And then that's how they got out there. He didn't want to let him out their contract. and supposedly Jadakiss, not Jadakiss, I'm sorry, uh, Styles P. Jadakiss reveals the locks was released from Bad Boy after Styles P threw a chair at Diddy. So I guess y'all don't understand.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that Breakfast Club. That Breakfast Club interview because he called into that very, very heated. And during that whole exchange, they had left Diddy what, like 5 years or 6 years prior. But according to their contract, he was to get whatever they made within that 7 years. So they didn't, do any records because their contract stipulated that, if they did anything within those 7 to 10 years, it was going to go to him anyway. And
let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. To not get into so much I appreciate that knowledge because I didn't know that part. Let me ask you this. What do you think? Because it sounds like you somebody who can give me this answer. What do you think about the oxymoron of a guy who has these accusations, if true, then like about Mason and then this kid with the Instagram and Diddy, then trying to be a face of or a part of a national reparations movement for Black folks? Isn't that like an oxymoron? Isn't that a like maybe you should step back? You're not the person for this. What's your thoughts?
You know what I'm starting to think is that a lot of these artists are hearing these terms through the trending topics and somehow trying to keep relevant by jumping onto these bandwagons. And they don't know how they start. They're not educated on it. They're not reading the books. They're not doing the research. They're not trying to figure out who founded it, like you and Yvette. And so they're only using the terms that will keep them relevant. Diddy doesn't understand that the first thing he can do before he even starts to say reparations is what Mace asked for to begin with. You need to rectify you being the capitalist to us instead of being the brother that you said you were going to be when we signed those contracts.
Did you know about this little boy? Did you know about this little boy in this accusation about the app that I read about earlier?
Oh yeah, that he sold the app. Oh yeah, he had actually talked about it maybe a couple of years ago because that was something that he was going to start. And then for some odd reason, him and Jay-Z jumped on the bandwagon and took it from him. And just like he's about to do now, he went on TikTok the other day and was like, "I need inspiration. I need all my Black creators to come with me, call me, tell me what I need to do." So, I mean, he just, at this point, they're all trying to latch on to stuff that everyone else has created. And you can't do that. There's this thing about Diddy, and I think this is why he had so many Brooklyn people, so many people that were initially involved with Bad Boy. If you Black and you poor, and you got this guy who say, "Man, I'm not going to do you wrong. I'm from the same hood as you. I ain't going to do you wrong. We're going to make money together." You as a poor Black person, a descendant of a slave, is going to take that bag. And you going to believe that that person ain't going to do you wrong. But they didn't understand that this man was trained from class. He was trained by white capitalist music people.
Can I ask you?
When they thought that they was gonna have a friend, they didn't get a friend. They got an enemy. And
hold on, right there. The interesting part is it possible that reparations is getting an enemy, not a friend? That's my argument.
You said what?
Is it possible that reparations is getting an enemy, not a friend? So that's my same argument. Yeah. So like what you see is this. What you see is this, and I'll ask you this. If Diddy put Candace Owens or allowed Candace Owens on Revolt, and he had some say so because I came off of it. So you could have took her off, you seen her. How then can you say nothing when she say White Lives Matter? That's who she was. You elevated her. What you think?
Oh yeah, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew what he was doing when he put her on there with a lot of Black men that was going to oppose her. It's just a money thing for him. It's just a grab for him, And it's just a shame that we allow people like that to galvanize something that you, especially you started it with Yvette, that we started as a community.
Come on.
You know, for them to try to latch on to that, knowing that you've been a snake your whole life. But that's when you know, he's been reaching, he's been pulling. And it's unfortunate because he's about to try to do it to a whole new generation of people. That's the sad part.
All right, one last thing. All right. I'm gonna play something on screen. You can turn your volume down. I just want you to give me your general opinion of what you see on screen. It might be traumatic. You ready?
Hold on 1 second, because I don't have my stuff up.
All right, just have it up.
It's sad. It's really, really sad. And oh man. And yesterday I was listening to him, and he was like, I let my son get it out the mud. And what was so crazy about that, I was like, how you let your son get it out the mud and you're using a Junior Mafia, like your son got to use a Junior Mafia beat that was yours to begin with. Like, that's not getting it out of the mud. Like, he's not who we are. He's not dealing with the same thing that we're dealing with. Like, he's delusional. He's delusional. And I don't understand why. That was like within the first 2 minutes, he was like, I'm proud of my son. I didn't even rep the record. And then he said, but I did call a couple of DJs and tell them, put it on.
Can I say one more? Let me say one more thing. For y'all people that let's slow this down. I don't know how old you are, caller, but the early 2000s was like a revelation moment. You would see the American Music Awards. It was all young black people in the front row and all that. Like, I represented Ski, who did I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller. And that was like the beginning of the moment because him, Bone Thugs, Pop, and Biggie were all best rap album that year. That's like 95. So by the time 2000 hit, them people that were, because what you got to realize is that Diddy, Ice Cube, and Hov all was born in 69. Which means that moment was like a pivotal moment to be of age, and also regionally, no matter where you at. What's weird is Atlanta's hip hop is a little bit younger than that because the wave hit them a little younger. So if you was born in like, instead of 69, like 74 in Atlanta. But again, Diddy, Cube, Jay-Z, all 69. My point is just to say, what's interesting that's happening now is something that has happened for generations prior. And I believe the Telecom Act, for those people that are not familiar with that, Bill Clinton destroyed what I believe is black media and black radio by allowing Clear Channel and the like to basically aggregate and just give a top 100 over and over again for your entire adult life, basically, if you're 40 or 30 years old. Before that, local, like Stan the Man on Martin, really owned a radio station. So like they could break artists in the local community. That's how you got all these black artists and these black groups all across the Nashville, or whatever you was at. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. But also that led to new artists and new content and new people that pushed other people out. Have y'all ever wondered how long these people gonna be here? What do I mean? What do you say, Tom? What would have happened? I'm gonna ask you, caller, because you here. You answer for the audience. What would have happened if the Temptations came out in MC Hammer Pants in 1992? What would have happened if the Temptations was in the background of the Biggie album, Biggie video? That would have been weird, right? David Ruffin's in the back of the Biggie video. Yeah. Why this ain't weird? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's 2022. These people were relevant in like 97. For those people, that's 25 years. Do you see what I'm saying, caller, where I'm going with it? We stuck in time.
Yeah.
We stuck in time. And part of what happened is that with the aggregation of radio, They stuck us in time, and it's led to a time warped kind of mentality amongst so much of Black America that we look into people to be the youth that they used to be instead of the old motherfuckers that they are. Excuse my language, the old people. I'll edit that out. Give me last thing that you want to say, caller.
No, I completely agree, and I just, all of those artists that he had, man, I really feel bad for them because I know that they took him on. They joined that label because they felt like you Adolf, I'm Adolf. I know that there's no way that you're gonna harm me because you already know what I've been through. And so that's why they went with him, only to realize that he was just like any other white capitalist, and that's the sad part. And that's where reparation comes in. That's where you and Yvette come in, because had we had that in place, they probably would have made better moves. They probably would have needed someone like a Diddy to use the identity of ADOS life.
Well, with reparations,
living in those type of places.
Well, explain to everybody, with reparations, you don't get the Telecom Act. You block the Telecom Act. So then you have Black Radio. And what Black Radio does is twofold. And probably more than two, but I'm going to give you twofold. The first is it allows new artists to come around. Get out of here. You're older, Diddy. Go do something else with yourself. I don't know what it is. Real estate. Figure something else out. You're not cool no more. But the second thing is more important. Or just as, let me say. You get nightly radio. See, we used to have talk radio at night where Black folks was on the radio, like we have a little of it now, but older people generally use it. We try to say this kind of thing, but we really have Black radio where people turned on their radio, they wasn't watching over and talked about what was going on in the Black community, local and national. We don't have that no more because we got hooked on this stuff. Now, last question I'm going to ask you, I'm going to let you go because I know I said the last one last time. I'm not going to hold you. What is your take on Kanye and the White Lives Matter shirt?
I'm so tired of him trolling us, and I wish he would just leave us alone. Like, at this point, we already know that, he's gone. And he's not for Adolf. He doesn't understand. Sometimes I think he doesn't even understand the Adolf experience, and I think we have to vet people on the lives that they lived before, on the lives that they, lived. He has a totally different experience than somebody like me that came from the south side of Chicago in the suburbs, Harvey, where we barely made anything. And we really did have to get it out the mud. That's not how Kanye was raised. And so, we should have been looking at stuff like that a long time ago, But at this point, like everyone else has said, he's just a lost cause. And that's it for me. I really can't take any more of the dude. So it is what it is. Thanks so much for letting me call in, Tom.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a great show. I just wanted to have this discussion.